I'm live. It is I, Becca Lori Hector, here with Being Becca Live, you guys. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy. I'm tired, but then also I just taught Unit 1 of Self-Defined Living, a Path to a Quality Autistic Life, to the next cohort, to the Spring 2022 cohort. They are off and running now, and I'm excited to say I've got a nice split between folks that got scholarships and folks that paid on their own, and I'm really excited to go on the journey with those guys. But welcome to Being Becca Live, which is where I chat about the challenges of being an autistic adult alive right now and not when research catches up. And we are here to chat today. So before I get started, I just want to take a moment to remind you that if you enjoy my channel and you are not yet subscribed, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. That is how I know that the content that I am putting out there is interesting to folks. Another way to tell me that is with a thumbs up or thumbs down, or to leave a comment. Yay! And then also remind you that February's Self-Defined Living seminar series is going to be called Tackling Transitions. Registration is now open. You can head to beccalori.com to sign up. It is going to be on February 23rd at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I will see you guys for that as well. Until then, let us talk about something here today. Hey, Bill, welcome. Happy birthday, my friend. Today is Bill's birthday. I saw that, and a wedding anniversary at the same time. He's such a popular guy. I hope you're having a great day, Bill, and thank you for taking time out of your special day to spend time with us. I do appreciate it. And so today, what I'm going to be talking about is continuing my discussion on burnout. So if you follow me regularly and you saw Growing Gratitude this past weekend, you saw that I didn't do it live. I pre-recorded it and uploaded it because I'm having some pre-burnout symptoms. And for me, those burnout symptoms are, my first clue is a change in my self-talk. When I start saying things like, hey, Abby, when I start saying things like, I'm tired, I quit, I don't care, it doesn't matter to me, right? Those sayings are when my brain is too tired to give a crap about anything because I'm headed for burnout, right? And so I just, I got those inklings. And then there was a lot of not wanting to get up, no motivation to do things, my chores feeling overwhelming. And those layers tell me that I'm headed for burnout. So what the first thing I did was recognize it and then start to cancel some appointments. I even canceled some appointments with some of you guys that, I couldn't make it because I had to take care of moi. Because things were getting out of hand. And then I went back and I looked in to see if I could figure out when things started to get out of control, what it was. And I found a spot where I not only went out of alignment, but also broke some of my own boundaries. And when I start to do that, ding, ding, you guys, where am I headed to? A burnout. Yes, just like that. Because, right, I know that I've set those boundaries, right? And I say yes to certain things and don't say no to other things for a reason. My plate is only so big, right? And I always feel like it's because I have the autism and things like that, and it takes special attention to balance those spoons. I feel like my plate is just like a hair smaller than neurotypical people's, right? And I forget that all the time. Forget it all the time that I have a tinier plate than other people, right? And there's a reason I put boundaries in place, and there's a reason that I do certain supports for myself. And I found that spot where I went out of alignment, and I found it, and the things that I started to say yes to. And I don't know why I went out. Like I don't know the why behind that. I don't know what I was thinking at the time when I said yes to those things or whatever, when I went off alignment exactly. What I probably did was stop asking, is this in alignment with the life you're trying to create, right? I'm sure that I forgot to ask myself that question when I was making some decisions a few months ago, and I think that set me on a train ride. And so I'm peeling back now because now I need to peel back smaller than my plate, right? Because I need some recovery time. And then when I start to put things back on, I need to be really careful about the things that I put back on. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, was kind of that phase of burnout, or burnout prevention. It really is, right? Phase 2 of burnout prevention is that in that rest phase, as we begin to think about the things we want to pick up again, to remember that we don't want to pick up everything again, because everything is what got us there. And so as I rebuild my plate, the question I'm going to be asking myself, and it's an interesting question, and I phrase it this way: instead of not is it in alignment with the life I'm trying to create, which is the big master question. So if it passes that question, the next filter for me is, it something that energizes me? Isn't that scary? It's such a scary way to filter. But what I realized is I went off track, right? When I started saying yes to things that don't energize me. That was the boundary that I broke for myself, was that one. I said yes to things I was like, meh, but okay, they're going to pay me, right? So that was where the train got derailed. So what I really very specifically want to ask myself as I rebuild my plate and put things back on is, what are the things that energize me? Does this thing that I want to put back on the plate energize me? If it does not, there is a big old chance it's not going onto the plate again, right? And it's going to get eliminated. And that rebalancing, right, is what I wanted to talk to you guys about, because that's the rebuild phase. And we all talk about how we get to burnout and how awful burnout feels, but we don't talk about the resilience that it takes to get back up from burnout, and that too is a process, and there are things we can do about getting out of that burnout so that we can prevent it, right? Hopefully another time. And the other example that I hope this is setting for you is that here I am 10 years out working on all of this stuff, and I can still stumble and fall, right? And then have to get back up. So resilience remains the most important thing about myself. Oh, and I'm wearing it today. Resilient as fuck. I am. Because I know I'll get through this burnout, and I know I'll get back up, and I know I'll feel good about myself again. And I know that I'm capable of it because I've done it a bazillion times before. And that's the reason that I know you're capable of it, because you've done it a bazillion times before. The key to it is this: giving yourself enough rest time, not getting up too fast, right? And then rebuilding wisely. We repile our plate wisely, right? We don't want 2 carbs, not 2 vegetables, not 2 proteins. I don't want, right? We want a nice balanced plate. And the way that I am choosing to balance my plate this go round is, does this thing energize me? Does this add energy to my life, positivity to my life? Is it lifting me up, or is it making me feel weighted? And by doing that, I've already figured out that I put aside some priorities that in this this derail for funding and other things, and I should take that because they're going to pay me even though I'm not excited. That meant less time for things which should be my utmost this priority this year, which is number 1, the research that I'm supposed to be doing that I got funding for, and number 2, the book that I have a contract for, neither of which I've given the proper amount of time, both of which energize me like nobody's business, right? So I've had to put a halt to, I'm not taking any new clients. I'm really just managing the clients that are, for the most part, are self-defined living students, and that's it. And unless they come to me with a referral from someone that I really, really think is amazing, right? Because that drains me. Like the one-on-ones drains a lot of spoons for me. And I don't have spare spoons right now. And I need to put all the spoons I do have towards those things which are supposed to be priorities for me this year, the things that energize me. So long story short, roundabout, I'm really interested in this phase of recharge and rest, and then this rebuild. And do you guys, when you've been through burnout and you've gotten back up again and you're in that resilience phase where you're getting back up, have any of you gone through that process and made changes because you've been through a burnout? Have you ever adjusted your plate in response to a burnout in this way? And if not, how do you rebalance your plate or rebuild your life up again after a burnout? What are some of the things that you've done? I'd love to learn, because I really think that we all have figured out different ways to get through it, and those are tools that other people can really benefit from. So that's the conversation and thought I want to leave you with. I'm not going to go too long today because, again, I am low on spoons and I am in recovery right now. And so this is one of the few things that I have decided to leave on my plate through recovery, because I want you guys to process recovery with me. Oh, Bernard said he just did this, rearrange things after burnout. I am so curious about what that meant for you. And did you leave things behind, and what did you change? And, was it because of the burnout that you made those changes? Right. I know we have a session coming up, so I am dying to hear more about how you handled that whole thing and what we're going to do going forward. Because if we aren't rearranging things after a burnout, what we're doing is just starting the cycle over. But I don't think it's something that people talk about. We all talk about the lead up to burnout, what burnout feels like, what it looks like, how it feels, how awful it is. But we don't talk about the resilience phase of getting back up, the rest that we take, and then the resilience that it takes to get back up, and how to do that well by rearranging things, right? By thinking about what it was that got you there in the first place. And so I look forward to your comments on that. I look forward to emails even on that, because I think it's something that we need to talk about as a community is burnout recovery, right? And so thank you, Bernard. I appreciate that you're willing to share it with me, because I think we are all on to something, and we need to talk about this part of burnout in a really important way. And because as you see, I didn't really have to fully go into burnout. I started to get the burnout signals, and I was like, whoa, those are burnout red flags. Stop the roller coaster. Hold on a moment. Right. And that is something I'm grateful for. I didn't always know how to do that. Right. And so it's my hope that because I'm now able to recognize those things, I don't ever go into full burnout again. Right. Like full deep burnout, like months at a time, and that I just have these little blips, right? And so I should have recognized the symptoms of shutdown, which were coming in before the symptoms of burnout, and things like wanting to avoid my email, things like not wanting to shower, things like not caring if I eat. Ooh, right? Some of my shutdown signs, and I was ignoring them. Sometimes blowing them off for the winter depression and other things. But so I passed right through that shutdown phase and went right into pre-burnout. And what I want to say is that we can prevent full out burnout if we are aware of our triggers and also what are our clues that we are heading in those directions. So that piece is important to discuss, as is this afterward piece, right? The post, the second half of your rest phase, where you're passed through the really unwell part of it, and you're recovering, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I need to start stepping back out there. How do we go about rearranging that plate? How do you do it? This is how I do it. And do you do it at all? Are we effectively making change? That's, I guess, the big question, uppity answer thing that I'm up in arms about today with my few spoons. And so I'm going to be doing some thinking about that. I hope you guys will too. And I hope if you've enjoyed this conversation, gotten something out of it, it's made you think, you'll take a minute to subscribe to the channel. Maybe you leave me a comment or a thumbs up if you like the content. And then, of course, if you have something more to say, feel free to email me. My email is in the description of the video, along with my website. And on my website, of course, you can find out all of my social media. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can read some of my writing. You can sign up for the course. You can check out the seminars. It's all there. And of course, if you don't want to email, you can use the contact page on the website, which will come directly to me. And with that, I say, think about tackling transitions with me. Going to be talking about that on February 23rd. Registration is now open. And that's about it for today, you guys. I will be back here, of course, next Wednesday with the next Being Becca Live. And I'll be back on Sunday with the next Growing Gratitude. Until then, you guys get out there and seek joy, create joy, share joy, all the joys. And I will see you out and about on the interwebs. Bye.